Good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Hello, welcome to another Woody Radio. I want to say radio, Woody Radio. I am here with our illustrious friend and leader, DJ Gidget, who I think is in the bottom square, maybe? Yeah?
I'm somewhere.
And our very special guest today, all the way from where we're from, Canada, our very own Vic Wayne of the band Star Collector. Welcome, Vic.
Hey.
Hi, Vic.
Happy to see you both. Happy to actually meet Gidget. We just met today.
Yes, no, I've seen your name pop up all over, and I kept going, I've got to add him on Facebook, but I'm really lazy, and
I beat you to it.
I've been loving the music.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Thank you. Very nice.
And I'm not the biggest fan of the whole pop thing. So it's like, for me to like it, it's like, wow, this is really good. You're definitely, you've got that Vancouver thing going on. I really think the bands up there have a definite pop to them, and there's a definite hook to Vancouver music.
Oh,
and I really like that.
On behalf of my city, we thank you.
And by the way, so that's what Canada looks like, huh? We're looking at Canada right now.
Behind me?
Yeah, that's Canada right there.
Yeah, that's the Canadian star, which is on our flag. And a guitar case, which every Canadian has,
of course,
and a picture of Star Collector, which of course would be in pretty much every teenage girl's bedroom.
Should be, yes, indeed. So that's Canada. We're actually looking into another country right now, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and Canadian law means you have to have a stack of Canadian records.
Oh, okay. So this doesn't count.
Yeah, okay. That's the
count.
Canadian version of Bowie.
That's David Bowie, eh?
Okay, well, geez, what do I have sitting here on my desk? I got Richie Mayer.
Is he Canadian?
No.
Nope. But Canadians love him.
You know what? That's really funny because I have Richie Mayer on my desk too.
That's funny.
There you go. What a nice guy he is. Oh man.
He really is.
He's like the DJ Mike of Beatlesy, Carsy kind of music.
Super nice guy. Yeah. Got to get him on my show.
Really sweet.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Super nice.
I honestly, to be honest, I do not have any Canadian music on my desk right now.
Oh, okay. Well, fair.
I'm apologizing for that to my Canadian brother.
Accepted. Because we're so polite. We accept all apologies and we make apologies and
we'll make sure we play you some chili whack music while we're doing this and everything. And
yeah, no, it's great. I'm thrilled that you guys had me on. I mean, Mike and I actually did a piece together, I don't know, a couple months back.
It was a couple months ago on the Saturday show. Yeah.
I was listening at work.
That was great fun. And we found out that we have compatible secret talents.
We do.
Does it involve farting?
Nope.
No. Okay. It could, but it doesn't.
No.
No, because might be some humidity depending on when you go out, but my secret talent is parallel parking.
Can you parallel park?
Vic has a better secret talent. Vic has parking karma. He can find the spot that we're going to parallel park in.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Right?
In Vancouver?
Yeah, I know, right? To quote the kids, I know, right?
You could drive up and down Robson for 4 hours before someone. I don't care how polite they are. They are not moving out of the spots for you.
No, I know it's the weirdest thing, and it's not just like recently, and it's been my whole life. It's just this sort of running joke with me and my friends and my family is just, there's a spot right there, right out front, and it's like, I don't know.
Did you get tickets?
Like I said to Mike probably before, if I had that kind of luck in the rest of my life,
yeah.
It's
perfect.
I could even pay for parking and go into a lot and not get a spot.
Right.
Well, you need to drive with me and park with Mike.
Yes.
and Vancouver has a lot of parking garages downtown, and
that they do. Have you been to Vancouver?
I have. I lived in Seattle for 15 years.
Okay, nice.
So
when were you in Seattle? What years?
I left in 2008, so I got there in 94.
Okay.
So 14 years. About 14 and a half years.
Yeah, I
So
love
Gidge, did
Seattle.
you need a passport at some point after 9/11 to get across the
Only
border?
after 9/11.
Yeah.
But before 9/11, we would just go, hey, you want to go to Canada for the day? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I go up to Harrison Hot Springs. It's beautiful up there. Look for
gorgeous.
Bigfoot
Yeah,
in the Stanley Park.
yeah. Just was there just the other day.
I can honestly say Vancouver is one of the prettiest places on the planet. And it's polite. And some of the best bakeries ever.
Yeah, and lots of really, I think I also was probably saying this to Mike too, is that a lot of great restaurants because it's a really multicultural city, right? So, you know, you'll find like if you like sushi, there's fabulous sushi restaurants. If you like, you know, Thai food, if you like Indian food, like it's just like it's a really rich multicultural place. So you can find really good quality restaurants.
And you can walk to almost anything when you're downtown.
Yeah, it's very small downtown. For a major city, it's unbelievable how small it is.
It reminded me a lot of a more cultural San Francisco.
Yes. I always, in fact, compare it to San Francisco. I think San Francisco is the closest city to what's the big park in San Francisco?
Golden Gate.
Golden Gate.
Yeah, Golden Gate. We did some bike riding there years ago.
And I grew up in San Francisco, so when I saw Stanley Park, I was like, I'm home.
Right.
And I wanted to move out to Salt Spring Island. I loved it out there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You got all these little islands and stuff, and I don't know if it's still there, but I used to go shopping all the time at that big, huge record store on Robson. Was it a Virgin?
There was a few. There was a Virgin there. There was also an A&B Sound for years, which was really popular. And there was a Sam the Record Man, which is the Canadian chain that was around for a long time. And those were just off Robson, but all three of those were around for the longest time. And then poof, you know, like
wow.
Just, you know, it's amazing how that's one of the really amazing things about even in just our lifetime that I've noticed is how many different formats of music have come and gone, and that how that affects the different types of businesses. You know, like for instance, you get this monstrous space to have your records in when records were a thing, even when cassettes and CDs were, and then as soon as the advent of digital, it's like there's just no need for that space. There's not enough people to buy it that way. So yeah, it's amazing how much things change.
And Virgin had these cool listening booths where you would go in and shut the little door and you would put the earphones on and listen.
Yeah.
And I used to do that. There were certain bands you couldn't get in the United States that were Canadian. You would have to go to Vancouver to buy.
Oh,
Trouble Charger.
Trouble Charger.
And
Matthew Good. We used to share a rehearsal room with Matthew Good.
Our Lady Peace, before they were popular, you could only get up there. Hot Heat. Grapes of Wrath. I mean, people just didn't know these bands. And we're only 2 hours down the road in Seattle, and people had no idea what I was talking about.
Wow.
And even British bands that didn't come over. I mean, you're going to laugh at this, but I actually went to Canada to buy Robbie Williams CDs because he never broke the United States.
Yeah, all I have is like a best of his, but I really like it, and I know that's probably not a cool thing to do, but
it's not cool at all. But you know what?
Anyone who's, you know, like exactly.
Even Tin Duffy wrote a lot of those songs with him. And he's a great songwriter.
Okay. Kiss Me With Your Mouth. I remember that tune. That one always.
I'm a total dork. I mean, as cool as I can be, I absolutely adore Robbie Williams, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Yeah. I'm sure there are certain DJs who are going, Fred's gone. But now, are you born and raised in Vancouver, or are you from like the outers?
I'm actually from Edmonton.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah, so it's the next province over from BC. And I was born in Halifax, which is on the other side of the country.
Right.
Whoa.
We had a DJ from Halifax.
Okay.
He was in a band called Neighborhood Watch.
Oh, a great name.
Rusty Von Hammerdown.
I don't know that name, but the name of the band is sort of vaguely familiar. But
he's either that or Nova Scotia, but it's the same place.
Yeah,
Nova
Scotia.
Maritimes.
Yeah. That's where. So yeah,
you know where you sing Titanics.
Oh my goodness.
Throwing those icebergs at the boat.
Yeah, that's right. So I was born there, and then I moved to Edmonton when I was 6, I want to say, and then lived there through all my school and my first sort of, you know, band stuff when I was a teenager, and you know, I went to university there and had bands all through university, and there was a really great scene. And you actually mentioned a lot of bands that these will be really familiar to both of you, I'm sure. But, you know, during that time, there was this really vibrant alternative music scene, and it was really small, like 15 to 20 bands maybe at any given time, because Edmonton isn't a major city compared to Toronto or Montreal or Chicago or, and of course at that time alternative music was not the thing. Everyone had the long hair and it was,
Mhm.
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of thing. But we got really into the whole mod scene, and
Ah.
and then we got really immediately embraced by this alternative scene. And it was so funny because there'd be like our mod band, one rockabilly band, one sort of synth pop band, 2 or 3 punk bands, and all different versions of hardcore and whatever. And they all, because there was so few of them, everybody was just one scene. So part of that scene was the guitarist and drummer from The Pursuit of Happiness before
Oh
they
my
were in The
God,
Pursuit of
love them.
Happiness, right? So they were called Face Crime. Before that, they were called Troc 59. Before that, Mo had a band called The Modern Minds. And this was all part of that scene. And then there's a really well-known hardcore punk band whose singer just passed away, actually, called SNFU.
Mhm.
And they were part of that scene too. Junior Gone Wild. I don't know if that one ever made it out
Don't
to you,
know
but
that
they're
one.
like they're sort of like we're a progenitor of the alt country thing, even like before Wilco and all that. And anyhow, so and there was some really really great music and some really great musicians, and then really quickly after the scene was like just happening for like 5, 6, 7 years, and then poof, everyone started to move to Toronto or Vancouver or elsewhere, but mostly those places. And I guess what it was is they started to recognize that the music industry, if they were going to actually try to carve out a career, was in one of those 2 places. It wasn't in Edmonton. So when I started to see that happening, I made the decision to move to Vancouver. And that's where I sort of got ingrained with, you mentioned the Grapes of Wrath, and I mentioned the Odds, and some
Yeah.
fabulous music out of Vancouver for sure.
So that's
I
like
love
what the
Vancouver.
US is like. I mean, US, if you're anywhere, you move to LA, New York, or Nashville if you're going to be in music. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
here
really,
it's like Toronto or Vancouver or maybe Montreal, but for Montreal you'd have to be usually a French speaking band. So really,
I've always wanted to go to Edmonton, but that's just to go to the mall.
That's right. That's
I
right.
grew up right near that mall. In fact, when I was a kid, they were building it. It was this
Uh-huh.
field, this monstrous field where people would run, kids would ride their like dirt bikes on.
Oh wow.
And then one day, suddenly there was this massive construction going on. And, over the course of time, from whatever age, when I was really young to when it was finished, it became this, world famous monster of a mall.
Mall with an amusement park.
Yeah, right. Is that the biggest one now? Bigger than Mall of America?
I'm pretty sure it is bigger.
Wow.
I thought someone told me there was one somewhere overseas that might be bigger now, but don't quote me on it. I don't know, but it is pretty huge.
I know that that they did that. They kind of based the Edmonton Mall and Mall of America when they were doing Mall Rats. Just kind of that whole idea of a big giant mall thing.
Yeah.
So and then I just kind of went, oh my God, I wish they could have gone over to Canada. One, they would have saved money filming there.
Right.
That's true. For sure.
And Kevin Smith has a thing for Canadians because he loves Degrassi.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone loves Degrassi.
Yeah.
And there's that hotel across the way where you get theme rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not theme rooms like you would go like on like a strip of like El Camino in San Jose. It's like theme rooms for like kids, like going to Legoland, not like
right.
Look at this magic
more wholesome.
hot tub.
Something wholesome.
More wholesome.
So you've given me some given me some ammunition / fuel. You know who else is from Edmonton is our very own, one of my favorites, Krista D. So I need to find out if she hangs out at that mall or knows anything about the Edmonton music scene nowadays, what it's like.
Oh, is that where she lives there now?
Yeah, she's from somewhere in a small town east, and she moved to Edmonton some years ago. She's a great artist too.
We had a DJ that moved to Edmonton, but now she's in Toronto because that's just what people do.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So picking up that thread, you kind of led me back to the Toronto thing. So Mo and Dave took their wares to Toronto and formed Pursuit of Happiness, and the SNFU guys moved to Vancouver, and some other guys moved to Toronto, and there was this, some really cool new wave bands, and the drummer now that was in one of these bands has been playing with the Jim Cuddy band, which is, the guy from Blue Rodeo and and stuff like that. So a lot of great musicians and really, really good quality stuff. Even when I listen back to a lot of it now, this is like a long, what, 25, 30 years later, it's still, a lot of it stands up really well with, given it, you know, whatever genre it was.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of good people there, but then they all just filtered elsewhere. So I chose Vancouver, and it was a little closer to home. I'd spent more time there. I kind of wanted to get away from the snow too, you know, like living in Edmonton year after you get, you know, it gets down to -40.
Yeah, I live in Indiana. We get plenty of snow.
Yeah.
And I chose it on purpose for the snow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. For me, I just had enough. You know, I'd finished university, and I just, you know, our band had just broken up. It was kind of the perfect time to make a move. And I was a drummer actually during all
Oh,
this
wow.
time. I don't know if
Did
I
not
even
know
told
that.
you that, Mike.
What kind of drums? You know, what kit?
What kind of kit did I use?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I used a Tama,
Okay.
which was popular back in those days with, you know, it was, well, I mean, they made all different sizes and shapes, but of course at that time it was the, you know, the Neil Peart special size. You know, you had to have like 8 toms and, you know, a fortress
I bought a
around
drum
you.
kit.
Did you?
Oh, wow.
And I bought a Ludwig Beatles kit.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I never learned to play it, but I
Oh,
bought one. But I always wanted a Rogers because I like the sound of the Rogers. But
yeah.
it just seems
Do
like
you-
most of my friends
Rogers
growing up
too.
were drummers, and I wanted to be one. And I
Do you
just
still
don't
have it?
that.
Still have the kit?
Me?
Yeah, but I don't have that
Oh,
kind of talent. I can't sing. I can't play an instrument, but I can play a microphone
There you go.
and I can push buttons to make music play. I'm the
Well,
world's biggest groupie.
oh, well, there's something to be said for that.
No, I'm not really, but
No.
it makes it fun.
And actually, there's nothing to be said for that. I don't know. I'm just spouting shit. So,
It's just kind of cool though, because I mean, this is our first Canadian we've had on, but
Right.
we are Canadian. We are a Canadian station. Woody Wood is Canadian. He is the founder of Woody Radio, and he is
Okay.
from Ontario. We never get bands from Ontario though.
Hmm.
We always find people in Vancouver. We have a listener that listens to all of our shows and leaves us the most wonderful messages. And
Yes.
he's from Surrey.
David.
And I'm like, I know, yeah, David. And he's so sweet. And I'm like, I totally know where he is because I went and bought, you know, shed material there.
Ah,
In Surrey.
Duty free. And so, I mean, it's just kind of cool to like have it all fall back onto a Canadian. So you get to be our first part of our,
That's
I guess we
awesome.
have to do 6 Canadians a month or something like
I
that.
guess so.
Or so can.
He's our first actual homeboy.
Yeah, I'm honored. That's pretty cool. I had no idea that. I did know that you were Canadian, but I actually found that out the day Mike and I had our chat a few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You actually mentioned that to me, Mike, right at the top of the show.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I didn't realize that it was a Canadian.
I
And I
think
tend to like to live near Canada. I'm only
Mm.
3 hours from Canada now.
I think one time when I got to know Krista, she said, "Are you guys Canadian? Because what's up with the maple leaf on the header of your radio page, you know, radio station page?" And I said, "That's a good eye. Yes, we are Canadian."
And I saw it and didn't even register.
Oh,
Right?
because you see those all the time, right?
I don't know.
And
I
I've been
don't
to
want to deal
Canada-
with these silly Americans. Oh my
Right,
God.
right.
No. You know, actually, that's not true. I was a dual citizen my whole life until about 2 years ago,
Ah,
and I renounced during the Trump administration.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
We do have a dual citizen, DJ. I totally forgot. DJ Timmy is a dual citizen.
ah.
He's from Vancouver. I totally forgot about that.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Timmy's from Vancouver.
Yes, Timmy is from Vancouver. We just
Wow.
forget because Timmy just lives under a rock and we pull him out sometimes.
Oh, see, in Canada, if you say Timmy's, I don't know if you guys know what that
Tim
means.
Horton. Tim
Oh
Hortons.
yeah,
Oh.
Timmy's is like, especially in Alberta. Oh my God, there's a Timmy's on like there's more Timmy's than Subways.
Yeah, we don't.
That's
I
how
think there
many-
might be a Tim
they're
Horton down in Indianapolis, but we don't really
Yeah.
have them here.
They are so freaking popular up here, especially in the prairies.
But see, we
Mm.
have Dunkin's
Crazy.
here, which sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you know,
I've had Dunkin'.
there's something to be said about the politeness of Canadians. Gravy on everything.
Gravy.
I love my
Heart
gravy.
pump with your meal.
My first time up in Canada with my family, I'd been there a few times, but I'd never ate. You know, I'd go run in and grab something and go. I didn't know that it was rude to leave the check. And we're kind of thinking these people don't ever want us to leave because they're not leaving us
Oh.
our check. We sat there for 3 hours while they closed the restaurant.
Oh, that's
We were
funny.
at the Ray's or Roy's. It's in downtown Vancouver. It's a fish restaurant, really expensive.
You're waiting
nice
for somebody to
bill.
make a move.
We didn't run out on it. But Russell Crowe was there filming a movie, and he was so dirty looking. It was so gross.
He was. Not the restaurant, he was.
Not the restaurant, just Russell Crowe itself. I didn't want to eat there because he was there, and I'm It like ruined my appetite completely. We went up to go see a Canucks game.
Oh, neat.
Nice. Yeah, they're not so good right now, but I didn't grow up here, and I don't have hockey is religion up here.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in Edmonton, of course, during the Gretzky heydays.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my stage name, Vic Wayne.
Oh, right.
Okay, yeah. I get it.
See, this is my moment when I noticed that you're a Canadian station by the little beaver or whatever. This is your moment. Vic Wayne. Oh yeah, Edmonton. I got it. That's
Maya's got some Gretzky Wii game that she used to play.
Sorry?
My daughter, she has a Wii game that was a Gretzky game. And it came with a little stick.
Nice.
She lives in Sharks territory now. I told her she can't. She's not allowed to watch hockey anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, hockey is so big here, and I grew up there, but I got into this really competitive hockey pool ages ago with all these music business people, like Joey Shithead from DOA is in the band in the pool. The manager for this well-known Canadian band 5440 is in the pool. Guy that was the manager for No Means No, like all these sort of music business or musician people. And it's amazing. Musicians love their frickin' hockey up here.
Oh yeah.
So they know, it's really hard to shark other guys in this pool, and we've been going for years. So, so the reason I bring this up is because it's like I should be an Oiler fan, right? Growing up in Edmonton. When you're in a pool like that, you become a total mercenary for whoever's in your hockey pool.
Yes,
so for 10 years, I was like, Red Wings.
Oh, yeah.
And I started to trade them away. And now it's like Tampa Bay. And of course, I got lucky because they've been really good the last couple of years. So I've been, making some bank on the back.
I'm sorry. I'm a Blackhawks fan. Woody Wood, the original. He is, I think he's, is he a Maple Leaf? I think he's a Maple Leaf.
Okay. It's just weird though when you say that there's hockey in places like Tampa Bay, Arizona, Nashville. I don't get that. I mean,
no, because they fly out to prisons in Russia and they pick up the players and they bring them wherever needs a player.
Unless it's Los Angeles, then you just buy Wayne Gretzky. You buy the best of whoever it is if you're in LA.
That's how they do. Yeah,
that's how they do.
That's funny.
We had a team in Seattle, but they were really, really bad.
Oh well, there is a team now.
But there wasn't. There was a secondary team.
Yes, there was. You're right.
When I was there, and they never beat anybody up. There was never enough blood.
Oh man.
I mean, I'm not into sports. I'm into hockey. Hockey's not a sport. It's a blood fest.
I just saw a little meme or story online just yesterday about some kid who was 14 years old, and he asked his favorite hockey player for an autograph, and the guy just refused. So 4 years later, he's 18 years old. He's playing the NHL. First thing he did is he beat up that guy.
I believe it.
Yeah. Hey, long memories, right?
Maya, my daughter, she was a DJ here at Woody. She met Duncan Keefe, I think is that his name, the one from the Blackhawks. And he still had all his teeth because it was the beginning of the season. And so we're watching Stanley Cup. And of course, we had a microburst and the power goes out. So we missed the end of the game. But when he came back on, he was missing a bunch of teeth, of course. And she goes, he was so much cuter at the auto show.
Oh, right.
He was like took out his plate and there's like,
right.
He just got traded from Chicago just I don't know, a week ago. Got traded
I haven't been paying
Edmonton,
attention.
to Edmonton, I think.
Probably. He's getting old.
Yeah, he's from BC actually originally too. So
is he?
Yeah, I think he's like 38. So
yeah,
he's a good player.
Yeah, we have a lot of hockey fans on our. We have a lot of DJs that definitely. There's a DJ Blasphemous.
He's Blasphemer, yeah.
Blasphemer, that's it. Oh,
he's in Vermont, so he's close. He's close to where the action is. He's in Vermont.
Yeah. We have a lot of Vermonters because they're technically Canadians. We just let them on this side.
Gotcha.
They have their own maple syrup and everything, so it counts. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't need to be part of America.
Yeah,
but they want to. That's the
syrup thing always makes me laugh because people bring it up all the time, and it's like, are we the only country that actually has maple syrup? Everyone asks us about, it's like, oh, those Canadians and their maple syrup. Like, yeah, you don't have any? Like,
I
but
personally can't stand it.
oh, really? Okay.
Oh
I
no.
do like it.
It's
Maybe
very
that's
woody
my
tasting.
prototypical
Oh, woody.
Canadian
I should
background or
enjoy
something.
eating things that are made of wood, but beaver teeth. But no, I don't like maple syrup at all. The Canadian things I like are poutine,
Well,
gravy,
what do you eat on your pancakes or your waffles?
corn syrup, like
Oh, well, that's okay. That's still
Mrs.
syrup.
Butterworth.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's still syrup.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, so you don't like the real maple syrup, you like the maple flavored syrup.
No, I don't even want it maple flavored. It tastes like wood.
Oh,
It
because it
kinda
comes from a
freaks me
tree.
out that there's going to be bugs in it.
You don't want tree juice.
I don't want tree juice. Tree
Okay.
pea. It's tree pea. It's the whole reason I don't eat fish.
Okay. Wow.
But they don't grow in trees.
I don't things that I associate with pea. I don't eat.
Ah,
Well, yeah, that makes some good sense.
I
That's
don't
a
eat
smart plan.
eggs because those are chicken butt things. I'm allergic anyway. So
What
it
do
doesn't
you eat?
matter.
What kind of food do you eat then?
I live on Mexican food pretty much.
Oh,
90%
you
of
and
the
Mike,
time.
you're peas in a Mexican pot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, me and
I-
Mike, we're the Mexican
Yeah,
food
I love
eaters.
Mexican food too, but I remember Mike saying that when we chatted before.
Yeah. I can't wait till Gidget comes out here so we can have some Mexican food.
Yep.
He's
very
coming back
soon.
for that.
Yeah, I heard a story when I was living in Seattle about a Vancouver guy who beamed himself to death. And it wasn't an urban legend. It was in the, because we got the Vancouver paper at work.
I don't want to hear that story.
Yeah, it was really
I don't
bad.
want to hear that story.
I
Okay.
can't
I
imagine.
know where it's going, and I don't. Want to hear that.
So
not
we're going
going
to take
anywhere
a quick
good.
break.
Not
We're going to
going
take a quick
anywhere.
break and restart this so we can restart the timer. So hold on, guys, and we'll start part 2 in 2 seconds. Welcome to part 2 with Vic Wayne. He is the awesome guy from Star Collector, and we are totally enjoying him. And I think we're going to keep him.
Oh,
Who knows if
absolutely.
we'll have like part 3, part 4, maybe every week. I don't know. He is so charming.
Totally.
You're just fulfilling your CanCon necessities by just having me on. Who's a Canadian we can get on to satisfy that? Let's get Vic again.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't say anything about having a different Canadian, so we'll just have the same one.
Yeah. And now that I renounced my US citizenship, I'm all Canadian. So it's kind of like double the pleasure, double the fun.
Right.
I would like to really use this as a good stalker to stalk my favorite 90s bands.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, there were some good ones. I mean, you mentioned Treble Charger. Did you know the
God,
band?
I love them.
Did you know the band Zucker Baby?
Mm-mm.
Great name.
So yeah, they were around,
I like the name.
Yeah, they're from Calgary, and they were around the exact same time, and they made 2 really, really good albums. Same vein. In fact, they played with Treble Charger. The probably the only time I actually saw them.
Yeah, my favorite Canadian musician would probably either be Tom Hooper or Matt Good.
Oh, Tom Hooper, huh? Not Kevin Kane. Okay.
I really like Tom Hooper from Great.
So now I get to talk a little music here because Kevin, the other main guy in Grapes of Wrath, co-produced 2 of our albums.
Really?
See,
I need to do my research
I
better.
wrote a song with him on our 3rd album. He played one of the solos on our song Funeral Party on this album. So
Wow.
Tom seems like a really nice guy, but I know Chris a little bit, or I did know him when he lived here. And he's a super nice guy, but Kevin's the one that I know really really well. Tom, for whatever reason, I just never really had a chance to meet him, and so but yeah,
You get my dog nose.
So
Cooper came over to say hi.
Hey,
there he is.
Nice to see you. I can just see this nose kind of popping.
Come on, Cooper. Come on. Come on, Cooper. This is Dale Cooper right here. Come on up.
Oh.
Come on, Dale Cooper. Come on up. Come on. Yeah, that's Dale Cooper.
So you're not totally alone in the mansion.
No, I'm gonna mute me real quick and shove him in the yard so he doesn't bark.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
talk amongst ourselves.
While I've got you, Vic, I don't think we ever established what was the name of your band that you had in Edmonton.
Well, I had a couple actually. So my first band was generically called the Mods.
Oh, you did tell me that
I did
before.
tell
That's
you that.
still a great name. And
Yeah.
you were a mod band, obviously. So yes.
Well, we were definitely a mod band. Like in every way. Like if you saw it from a slight distance, you would have thought we were the Jam. We were a 3-piece. We dressed like the Jam. We played, our music was similar to that. We covered a bunch of their stuff. That was kind of our template.
Did you have a scooter?
No, it's the only thing I did. And I had the parka and all the other stuff,
Okay.
but not the scooter.
Okay.
And then when that band split up, my brother was also in the band. So remember, I was the drummer. My brother was the bass player, and we both sang as well. And then the two of us joined up with this guy that was in that rockabilly band I mentioned earlier. His name was Drew, and they were called the Dragnets, and they were a really good 3-piece rockabilly band. And they split up around the same time that the Mods split up, and he and the two of us formed kind of a, at the time it was a little more progressive. It was kind of the more of that Simple Minds, U2, Echo and the Bunnymen kind of vibe. And that band was called Truth, and we did an album with them. And then I moved to Vancouver and got into a band for a little while, but I was still the drummer, and that band really soured me on the position of being a drummer, because I was writing a lot and I was still singing. But it just didn't work out. So when that band split up, I decided I just got to form my own band. I got all these songs, and maybe I'm fooling myself that I can be a singer, but whatever the case is, I'm going to give it a go. So I was in Vancouver at that time, and this is actually a great story, because Mike and Gidget, so I'll tell you too. So Steve is my longtime guitar player, my longtime companion. We've played together for decades, and he's like my other brother. And it was so funny how I met him. So I was in Vancouver, and I was working at a White Spot restaurant on Granville Street.
I love that White Spot.
Yeah, they have good burgers. And I was just waiting tables, and I was starting to formulate this idea that I was going to try and form my own band. And I knew a drummer that I'd grown up with who was currently finishing a degree in music in Montreal. And I sent him a letter and said, hey man, do you want to come out and be my drummer? I'm actually not going to be a drummer anymore. I'm going to be up front. I sent him a letter, because this is how long ago this was.
Yeah.
And amazingly, he said, yeah, I'll come out there and be your drummer. So okay, great. So I got a good drummer now. And I'm working at the White Spot, and I'm in my section, and I'm walking by this table, and I hear the phrase rehearsal space. So I'm thinking, okay, they're either musicians. There's like 6 guys at a table. They're either musicians or actors, but there's not many other options right here. So I just, being me, I just said, hey, you guys, are you guys musicians? And 2 of them piped up and said, yeah, I am. And the other guy said, yeah, I am. I said, well, what do you guys do? And one of them said, I play guitar. And the other one said, I play bass. And I said, ding, ding, ding. My little light bulb goes off, right?
You're in the band.
He's like, oh, well, I'm a singer-songwriter and got a bunch of these songs, and I've got a drummer coming out from Montreal. Do you guys want to come and hear my stuff? And after one get-together, we just joined up. Wow. So that was how I met Steve. And the bass player lasted about 6 months, maybe not even. But Steve and I carried on, and we had a band here in town that got pretty well known locally, called State of Mind. And then we did an album with that band. And then that band morphed into another more kind of, I don't know, we used to describe ourselves as sort of like a Screaming Trees meets the Simple Minds kind of vibe. So it was kind of somewhere, it wasn't really quite grunge, but it also wasn't quite 80s. It had this weird kind of mixture. And that band was called Dear God, which, you know where that name came from, of course. Mm-hmm. And that band did an album too, and toured and did some videos, and were on Much Music and the whole thing. So, that was kind of, that was a cool station. And at that point, that was kind of like where we thought the golden ring was going to be. And that band did a really good album I'm still extremely proud of. Quite different from the Star Collector stuff, but yeah, anyhow.
Did you sound at all like XTC?
No, I wouldn't say so. I would
say the name.
Yeah, I just love the name. In fact, that came up in a funny story. We were sitting around having a band meeting, and someone brought up the George Burns John Denver movie, and they said, oh, isn't that called Dear God? And I said, no, that's called Oh God, but let's use the other one as our band name. And then of course I tied into the XTC song, and we all went, okay, deal. So that band did well. And then, so Steve and I had been together for about 6 years with these 2 bands. And then it just finally, as bands do, one guy decides to leave, another guy is not working out. Suddenly it went from a 5-piece to a 2-piece in a matter of like a week. So I said to Steve, do you want to keep going, or do you want to take a little break? And he said, let me think about it for about a week. And we got back together, and he said, I think I'm going to take a little break.
Hmm.
So I kind of was like, okay, well now it's, and then there was one.
Wow.
So yeah, that was tough because that band we would rehearse like 3 nights a week and gig all the time and tour all the time. And, it's like when you're at that age when you can do all that stuff before you have kids and, like when you're going for it full on. And we toured with some cool bands. Like you might even remember the band Change of Heart, Gidget?
No.
Oh no, they were out of Toronto. They were a really cool band in the 90s. Anyhow, so, and we played with Our Lady Peace at a show one time.
Wow.
And so anyhow, so that was,
unless you had much music, you didn't get to see a lot of the Canadian content.
Well, that's right.
Hmm.
That's right. And
I mean, they would send us stuff like chili wax so they didn't have to share.
So we did a couple videos and they did really well, and we're interviewed on Much Music and all that good stuff, and it really felt like we were just about there, and then the band died.
Oh man.
So that was tough. And then I kind of took like about a year and a half where I couldn't really write anything because when you're a songwriter and you've got this access to all these other guys that immediately can make your music sound like a band, like you got a drummer that can play and you got a bass player, you just bring a song in and suddenly poof, there it is. People are starting to work on arrangements, and when you don't have that and you're used to having that for whatever I had, 10 years maybe, it's hard to get motivated to do. And I'd written a lot of songs during that time and put a lot of energy in my life into it, and then suddenly it was like, okay, what now? That's
like losing a spouse or a girlfriend. Really, it's like breaking
it really
up.
is. Actually, it was tough. I mean, I've always been a pretty up kind of guy, like I'm a glass half full, extrovert and all that business, but there was a few tough days there, there's no question about it. So didn't really do much for about a year and a bit. And then out of the blue, the guitar player from my first band, The Mods, Dave, was living in Victoria, and he called me up and he said, are you playing with anybody right now? Maybe you want to, I'm thinking of moving to Vancouver. Do you want to get together and write some songs? And he and I had written a lot together with my brother and all that in our first band. And we had a really good chemistry. And some of the stuff that you like right now, Mike, the Skyscraper and Turn You On and those kind of songs that are off our first album, those are stuff that I wrote with him and recorded with him and stuff. And so he came over and we wrote like probably 2 albums worth of stuff in a really short time. And then we went in and recorded it. And just when we got to like the last 2 songs, things kind of fell apart with him. But by then I'd had Ringo, our drummer, who was with us for 21 years after that. And this really well-known producer, Garth Richardson, he had worked with like Catherine Wheel and the Chili Peppers and Rage Against the Machine and Alice Cooper. And I mean, you name it. He's like, really well-known music producer. His father was Jack Richardson that did Love It to Death with Alice Cooper and Guess Who albums and stuff. Like,
I didn't know that was who he was related to.
Yeah, that was his dad. So just by a weird set of circumstances, Garth was in the recording studio while we were recording. Our engineer became friends with him, is how it happened. And our engineer had always been a big supporter of us. And he brought Garth in and he said, oh, there's this band I just want you to hear. So we're in there recording and Garth's like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool stuff. But I really love that Vox amp that they're using there. So being kind of cocky at this time, Dave and I went off to dinner. And at dinner, we're like, why don't we see if we can get him to mix our album? And it's like, so we went back and we said to Chris, the engineer, see if Garth wants to mix our album. He seemed to like the music. And Chris, I remember this as clear as day. And this is like 25 years ago, maybe 23 years ago, whatever. Chris just started laughing. And he's like, that guy makes like $5,000 a song.
Oh, wow.
Why is he going to mix your 12 songs? Like, and I said, well, he really liked that amp. Maybe he'll do it for the amp. Here I am offering Dave's amp. So that wasn't even mine.
Oh my God, don't touch it.
It's easier that way.
Yeah. And it was a vintage. It was like an early 70s. It was a good amp, but I mean, hell, if the guy's going to mix my album for a piece of equipment. So Chris laughed again. And I said, just go tell him. I always refer to this as our Gallagher moments, where we were just kind of like, just cocky enough to think this might, might work out. And what's the harm in trying?
Right.
And so Chris goes and tells him, and he comes back to me and he goes, I can't believe this, but he said he'll listen to all the songs, and if he likes them enough, he'll do it for the amp.
Wow. That is awesome.
and he liked the songs enough, and he mixed the album for us. So, and then he even helped us get into a really great studio situation for our second album.
Nice.
And
you didn't have to go back to the white spot to find other musicians.
no, I didn't have to do that either. Oh, yes. Okay. So at the end of that album, so this is where it happened. So Dave and I kind of fell out again. Not so much as friends, but certainly as musicians. And
you gave away his amp.
yeah, I know. I hope you're not going to watch this because he'll ask me for money. So you think I'm kidding. So, so here I am. I've got a drummer, great guy, Ringo. I got the stuff recorded, and I've got a really well-known producer behind me. I can't just and I really like that album. I couldn't just let it not get released.
Yeah.
And just by as fate would have it, Steve had moved away for a year after the band broke up, and he had just moved back. And he came into the studio and heard, just before Dave and I stopped doing stuff, he came in and listened once or twice. And he said to me after, he's like, wow, I really like this stuff you're doing. So when Dave kind of, fell out, then Steve fell in. And
nice.
that was 1997.
Nice.
Wow.
I keep going back to
later.
Wow. I keep going back to the drummer named Ringo, because if you have a guy named Ringo in your band, he's not going to be the bass player or the guitarist. No way. He's not going to be a keyboard player.
That's true. It's like if you name your kid Jeeves, you know what you're setting him up for in life, right? Sorry, I think I stole that from Seinfeld or something, but it's true.
Just ask him, yeah.
Yeah. No, his name was actually Rene, but we just started calling him Ringo right from day one, and everyone calls him Ringo in the music scene.
It's so funny that you say that Jeeves thing, because I play this game with a butler who looks just like Mike.
That's right. Except not quite as handsome, but close.
He's bald. He's a bald Mike. It's called Homescapes.
Oh, bald Mike.
He's me in the future. Bald Mike in the future.
DJ Bald Mike. And he's a butler.
And he's a butler.
He did it.
He obviously
he did it. Yeah, he's guilty by association.
So, but every time I play it, I say, "Hi, Mike Jeeves."
Yeah, Mike Jeeves. Hello, Jeeves.
Hello.
So then Steve and Ringo and I kind of kept the band going for, right up until this last, I think, 21 years Ringo was with us. And then he had a kid really late in life. And as you had mentioned earlier, Gidget, like the price of living here is stupid.
Yeah.
So he and his wife and their little one decided they were going to move back over to Alberta where it was cheaper, and he had some family and stuff. And, it's like, what can you do? Like, nicest guy in the world. Was absolute hoot on the road, had us in stitches all the time, did a great Sean Connery, perverted Sean Connery impression.
Oh, I can imagine.
But Sean Connery is a pervert.
Well, I don't know if he is or not, but Ringo sure made him one.
Yeah.
And just, salt of the earth, best guy. And but
you can still work with him. I mean, in this day and age, everybody's learning how to not leave the house.
Well, you're right. We could have, but this happened. So this was about 3 years ago. And so there was another band in town that did it was very much in the similar kind of vibe, maybe a little more 60s, sort of than what we did, but certainly we could play gigs with them. And we did for many years. They were called the Orchid Highway, and all really good players, good writers, and their drummer. So they broke up. I don't know, I guess it's about 7 years ago now, but their drummer, Adrian, we'd always been a fan, and he used to come to our shows. We go to their shows and gig and tour together and stuff. So when Ringo said, I got to go, we thought, well, who's the very first person we'd think of? And both Steve and I were like, yeah, Adrian. And at the time we had our bass player then with us as well, Shane. So the three of us went, yeah, Adrian, he's the guy. And Adrian said, great, love to. I still have the text where I was like, do you want to come maybe do some shows with us? And it was, fuck yeah. All it said, big capital letters with a lot of exclamation points. Fuck yeah. I can call it up.
And Adrian's another great name for a drummer.
It is. And he's a great drummer. And he's also a really good sound engineer.
Oh, good.
So that
multitasking.
Oh man, that ended up being a saving grace, because we had done the drum tracks for Game Day, the new album, in the big studio, where you go in and you pay the bigger money and the whole thing, but you want the drums to sound, big. One thing you don't scrimp on is the drum sound.
Yeah.
But then COVID hit, and we were still able to do it all because Adrian could just do it out of his house. We could go in and overdub and sing and play bass and or whatever in his house. So we actually worked on the album that way. And then my brother replaced Shane during the recording, but my brother lives in Portland. So this goes to your point, Gidget, that you can still send files around. You don't all have to be in the same place. But it was so great to have my brother back again because, brothers, grown up, in music our whole lives. And he had his own musical life in Portland and in LA before that. And I had mine in Vancouver, and every once in a while we'd need a bass player or something, and he would come and do it.
And I love Portland. You got to use that as an excuse to go to Portland more.
And we do, yeah. So
we have a lot of great bands in Portland that are with Woody.
Mike Collins comes to mind first and foremost. Yes. Rachel Taylor Brown's another one.
Yeah, I've heard you play her. She's good.
Yeah, I went to Portland to a really great bar to see Throwback Suburbia back in the 90s. No, the 2000s, back when Woody first started. And I went to that big bookstore.
Powell's.
Right.
And I went and got a voodoo donut. So your brother's living in a great place.
He is. He definitely is.
I know where the good donuts are and everybody. Voodoo's overrated now, but back then.
Donut tours with Gidget.
Right. They have a voodoo donuts at Universal Studios in LA now. So that's where I had my voodoo donut 2 years ago.
I had the voodoo one shaped like a voodoo, like the little dude.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was so sickly sweet. Oh my God. I'm like a normal donut person. So, we said how much we like Mexican food. Vic, what do you eat?
Well, I do love Mexican food, and but I also love Indian food and I love Thai food. I'd say those are probably my 3 top choices. I mean, I like a lot of stuff. I was a vegetarian for a really long time. And when you're vegetarian, you tend to be able to eat without sacrificing much when you eat those kind of really foods they're rich in curries or in spices or whatever.
Yeah.
And Mexican can also easily be vegetarian too.
Right.
Oh my God, there's a place here, Chando's Tacos, and they have a whole vegetarian menu too. Spinach and cheese taco. Oh, that's better than some of their meat tacos.
Yeah, I do a spinach and potato taco all the time. I do eat a lot of vegetarian food. I'm not a vegetarian.
Yeah, I'm not either anymore, but I was for a long time, and now I'm back.
I was a vegetarian all through college.
You
know, and now I live in Indiana, and they stare at you really weird if you don't eat meat.
There's certain parts of the world. I know it's like Alberta, the province that I was from before. I mean, they're like the beef capital of Canada. Like, you're not. If you were a vegetarian there, you're gonna have trouble finding a restaurant that's. I mean, I don't want to sell them too short, but in general. But Vancouver, again, back to that multicultural thing. Like you can get great vegetarian food at just about every restaurant you go to. So. So, so then
my
Adam
being English keeps me from having to be a full vegetarian because I wouldn't be able to have bangers.
Right. Well, and that was what sucked me back in was bacon.
Bacon. Now, see, I don't eat bacon because I don't eat pork, but I will have pork if it's in my banger. But we have to, the meat is very weird when you're getting it from England because of mad cow.
Yeah.
You can get proper bangers in Vancouver, but you can't get proper bangers in the States.
Right. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
See?
But I don't eat pork, so bacon isn't going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know why that was just my gateway drug back to the eating meat again.
It's not really a meat. It's just a flavoring. It's a chewy flavoring.
It's too chewy for me. My gateway back into the meat was a hamburger bar in San Francisco called Hot and Hunky.
What part of town was that, out of curiosity?
Burgers and male strippers. Come on in, folks.
It was a drag queen bar next door called The Mint.
There you go. Okay, there you go.
They always made me vegetarian burgers. It would be a cheeseburger, but with no meat. It would be everything: the mayo, the lettuce, the tomato, the cheese, all the stuff, just no meat. And when we went to Slater's, I got a vegetarian burger, but I added bacon just because I wanted to freak everybody out.
Well, okay.
Nice.
So to this day, I still don't eat beef. Weird thing. I eat bacon, I eat chicken, I eat turkey. I've even had lamb a couple times, but for whatever reason, I haven't gone back to beef. So I still order veggie burgers wherever, White Spot, anywhere of these places, but I put bacon on them.
That's funny.
And it's always the same question. So I'll have the bacon cheeseburger, but with a veggie patty, please. And it's
I do
every
eat
single
beef,
time.
not at Mexican restaurants though.
But you want the bacon every time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Personal
I do.
preference.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
I do eat beef and I eat chicken, but I don't eat lamb. I don't eat pork. I don't eat veal.
I don't feel
don't eat-
great about it. I mean, because it was like a lot of years that we didn't eat it, but
Mm.
now I've just, I've slipped so far back that there's,
Being,
it's like
being
Recidivist.
English and seeing that big lamb roast with the mint and smelling it and knowing that it's going to taste good if I just
Right.
would give in, but I'm not giving in.
good for
I
you.
feel like I've given in enough.
Fight the power.
I'm just
I
gonna
don't even
say,
eat gut.
Oh,
I'm gonna say one thing that's gonna ruin the whole conversation. I'm going to Texas next week. That kills
You
it all
suck.
because
yeah, that's
I totally do barbecue,
Texas.
barbecue, Tex-Mex, barbecue,
I
Tex-Mex.
hate
Yeah,
you.
that's
You're
I,
fired.
I would too.
that's okay. So yeah, so then back to the music thing. So then Adam kind of
music.
took over, and we started having Adam play the bass from Portland. And he and I would go back and forth on the bass stuff, and it got him to do some singing. And so that's the way bands they change. Not everybody can be U2 and have the same four guys for 43 years.
I'm glad they're
Right.
not U2 because they're not one of my favorite bands.
No, I know. I mean, these days U2 is not vogue with most people anyway. But my point is more just about like how long they've
Longevity,
had the same guys. Like
there aren't a lot of bands, and the bands that do have a longevity are missing key people.
right. Like, is there any other band that's had the same four guys for 40 years other than U2?
REM did it until Bill Berry dropped out, and then they just
Like
kind of
18
didn't really.
years. That
Yeah.
was 18 years.
I can't think of anybody.
Rush,
No.
maybe Rush.
Aren't they dead?
Okay, yeah, the
Now.
one guy died, but until then, you're right. They were.
But there
that
was only
probably
3 of
30
them,
years.
so I mean,
Yeah, better odds.
Yeah,
That's true.
I can't think of
So-
anybody.
Yeah, no, I know it's a
I'm-
tough one.
scratching at it.
Green
Yeah,
Day. Green Day's been about 25 years.
Yeah.
that's a band
Um,
I didn't think would make it out of the '90s, and I'm glad they did. I didn't think Green
Mm-hmm.
Day or Weezer would make it out of the '90s. So glad they did.
And
Yeah.
Weezer's pretty much kept everybody except for the guy that left early on,
Hmm.
haven't they?
I don't know. I actually don't listen to a lot of Weezer for whatever
Yeah.
reason. I know
Okay,
that.
what about
But I don't.
there's got to be somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, one of us will come up with it. But
No,
for now,
somebody
U2
has
is
gotta
the
be
U2
still
is the only
together.
band.
Oh, I know. Bob
Who?
Dylan. He is still together with himself.
That's up for debate.
Well played.
Maybe I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a Bob Dylan fan. I'm always
Yeah.
like quick to make sure that people know that my son's name is Dylan from the poet Dylan Thomas.
Dylan Thomas.
Well, that was where Bob Dylan's name came from. So, it's all derivative from Dylan Thomas.
Well, Dylan was supposed to be Walter because I wanted a Jack and Walter. And my
Oh.
mom said, you don't do that to children.
You almost did, though.
I'm still trying to think of a band that's been together for, that long. And I don't know anybody
Right.
who's been together. Echo and the Bunnymen. No, I think they've switched
no,
numbers
their
too.
drummer died in '89.
Yeah.
This player was back and then left again. So no, I mean, yeah, I know it's hard
Things
to
change.
but
Drama
yeah.
Rama only has lost 2 members. The 3 of them are still in there.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah. They're not
that's
like famous.
60%.
They're
Come on.
cult famous.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody.
I mean, the Stones is still 60% too, but even then,
The Stones might not
60 is
even really
not-
be alive. We don't know.
We don't
Yeah,
know.
it is hard to tell. It is hard to tell. Did you see that really funny meme of Keith Richards with a really little baby? And it's
The
this,
little Willie Nelson.
no, he's like down here, like googie with little girl, and it says Keith Richards with Betty White as a kid.
Oh, I saw it with Willie Nelson and he had little braids.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Oh, that
Foo
guy.
Fighters. Foo
he should be
Fighters have
dead.
been together since
Who?
the 90s.
Who?
Foo Fighters. Same
Foo
lineup.
Fighters. All 4 of them
not,
are the same,
no,
aren't
not
they?
all the same guys. No, they're they had the 2 guys from Sunny Day Real Estate, and the drummer couldn't.
Oh, that's right.
Make it work with Dave Grohl, so he left, and then they had some different guitar players. No.
It's got to be hard
Pat
to
Smear
be.
came and left.
It's got to be hard to be a drummer for Dave Grohl, who was a drummer. It's got to be hard to be in that position, like be a drummer for Phil Collins. Just somebody that knows drums.
Well, so you know what? That's okay. So now we're bringing it back to Little Star Collector stuff. I'm a drummer. Remember I mentioned that to you. I was
Right.
a drummer, right? So I've always been, I'm sure, much harder on the drummers than the other guys in the band because I understand drums. Like I've never been a bass player. I can't play bass to save my life. I can still know what I like to hear and what I don't, but I can't technically discuss bass the way that another bass player could. but with my drummers, I can. And I'm sure there's been times when, you know, different guys have just like pulled their frickin' hair out because, you know, I'm talking about something that I want to hear. And however, that being said, Ringo was with us for 21 years. So maybe he's just like, you know, way too good a guy. But
I
but
gotta
yes,
say though,
your point is
drummers,
well taken. If you got a guy who's leading the band that used to do something, I'm sure it's hard. But Taylor Hawkins is an incredibly good drummer. Like,
yeah.
amazing.
There's
So.
a thing about drummers live, and when drummers sing and become their singers, that I've noticed they put on more of a concert because they're used to being behind. And when they come up front, they know they have kind of like a back and a front. They're able to look at it in all directions of the stage. So they put on a better show. Everybody I've seen who's been a drummer and is now a singer, I have had a better time at their concerts.
Interesting.
Well, we'll put that theory to test one day when you come see us.
When I see
they'll
you,
be like, oh, that theory was wrong. Star Collector sucks.
Phil Collins was amazing live. Amazing live. Not that I like his music because I really can't stand Phil Collins, but live. Gautier played the drums, sang. His music, nothing sounds like that someone that I used to know song. And he was one of the most talented musicians I've ever seen in my entire life. And he didn't play anything but drums.
Bruno Mars is another guy that like.
Oh yeah.
He's
drummer. Wow.
A hell of a performer. Yeah. So
I just think that you're able to get a viewpoint of how a band should work from both angles, front and back.
Yeah,
that's very interesting theory. I never thought of it that way, but maybe there is something to that.
There's something to be said about bands that have to play their pay their dues and get live and show people what a live band is supposed to be like. And I think now with COVID, all these people who aren't playing right now, who are just doing this, the people that are still doing the Zooms and doing like recorded live shows are the ones who are still going to be able to play when this is over. There's young people coming up. I don't think will have an idea. They've missed out on a whole generation that we had.
Yeah, that could very
of
well
live
be.
And paying your dues.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Could very well be. Yep.
I'm not ready for concerts yet. And a certain musician that people like, who I can't stand, said that he won't play for if they make it that you have to show a Vax card. I don't care. I'm not going to show a Vax card to see a band anyway, because I don't think we're ready for that. And I think that if you're going to go to a show and you're going to be stupid enough to take off your mask at a show, you're stupid enough to catch something, because it doesn't matter. I really think that we should learn an example of how to enjoy music without big arenas. I think we need to be a little bit more intimate with our music again.
Yeah.
And I think the old days need to come back. And that's why we did the living room sessions at Woody Radio and did all those live shows. Why Dolph does all those shows every other week is because there is a part where somebody sees a band and they go, oh my God, I feel that. But when you're in a big, stadium and you're seeing a bunch of really super old guys who want $300 from you just to see them from the back of the room, it's not the same.
You're not seeing them.
We need to look at that in a different view now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of like immediately when you said that, I was like, okay, so I remember about 10 years ago, the Stones came here, and that was exactly what it was. Way too many people. You're far back, and to be honest, the Stones aren't much live. I mean, he's still a hell of a performer for a guy who's like 75, but musically they sound like shit. And the whole experience is different. But then I saw Squeeze at this 1,500 seater in Vancouver, the Commodore Ballroom, about 3 or 4 years ago, before COVID, just a little while before COVID, and it was incredible. I mean, transcendent kind of experience. I mean, I'm a huge Squeeze fan, but I like a lot of Stones too. And maybe if I'd seen the Stones in a different way,
I've seen the Stones 3 times and I wasn't impressed any of them.
Yeah, I like
every time I felt like they just were there for the money.
Yeah, I mean,
and I felt the same way about Aerosmith, and at least the Who admitted that that's what they were there for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that time in 1984 or 5, when I saw them, it was $125 a ticket.
That's big money for 84.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah.
Oh, was that Day on the Green?
No, actually, it was at the big Coliseum. It was they played with, I don't remember who they played with, somebody unimportant. But I had seen, I had seen the Who with the Clash before that in
Oh,
'83.
I know when you saw them.
And
You
I
saw them on their
left.
farewell tour. Yeah.
Yeah, and I left during the Who because I was bored.
Wow.
As much as
Wow.
I love the Who, I was bored because these are a bunch of old men who didn't give a shit that we were there.
That era wasn't good for the Who. I'm a big Who fan, but the last album that they did, It's Hard, that wasn't a good album. That wasn't a good era for them.
No,
That was their farewell tour, I think.
Yeah.
I know.
And
I was trying to
a
pick
big
through
Aunt
that
Whistle
album.
fan.
I was trying to pick through that album the other day to try to find even like a few tracks that I wanted to have on my, in my library. And I was like, I don't know. Okay, Eminence Front's good, and
I'm over it. I think
maybe
I'm getting
Athena,
too
I
old
don't
to
know,
care.
but like I agree with you. Like it was a really tough. At the time, I liked it more than I did in retrospect. But even then, I was kind of lukewarm to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, but their catalog speaks for itself before that. So
I love their catalog. By the way, I think it's time for something special because we're starting to wind down here, but
Yeah.
I think Vic needs a fortune.
He does need a fortune.
Can you see these?
is this the Mike's fortune cookie moment?
Yes, Mike's fortune
is.
cookie moment.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Okay, good. Because we have a few, but I think that's the one that screams Vic.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and open it up here, right on camera.
So this is my fortune.
This is your fortune.
Okay.
It could be
And Gidget
Gidget's.
has to add to it.
Yes. This is a group thing. Gidget and I have a way of reading these, so it could be Gidget's and my fortune too if we like it, but it's definitely yours, Vic. Okay.
Ooh, yuck. I hate the way those things taste.
Uh-oh. What does it mean if there's only half a fortune?
Vic is
Oh, wait a minute. You know what?
You really have some shitty luck, dude.
Wow.
I know. No,
Time to
actually,
go back to the white spot and get some luck
that's not
going.
my parking karma there.
no, there's enough to work with though.
Okay.
Today will begin your year of prosperity.
In bed.
Oh. In bed?
Oh,
that's good
and there's
too.
the rest of the fortune. It was in my mouth.
Okay, so today will begin your year of prosperity?
Yeah,
Oh,
just go with that. That's good. That's a
damn,
good one.
I
In
like
bed.
that one.
In bed, in Mike's mouth.
Oh, I see. That's how he reads the fortune and you have to finish the sentence. Okay, that's
Yes.
I always add in bed to the all of
Every
those.
time.
Yeah, you can't really lose with that, can you?
It's
No.
enhanced every single fortune. It's never gone wrong.
So here's
well, I guess. I mean, what if
here's
what
my
if, what if
last-
the thing said, you are unfortunate.
in bed.
There's more of the fortune.
In Mike's mouth.
This
I
won't be
t-
your year.
I totally
In
botched
bed.
that one.
So
This
Vic,
was our very first.
here's the Gidget part.
yeah.
Go on, Mike.
I would say this was our very first fortune accident on the job. We have to reset the counter now.
Start it over.
Yep. 0
It
days
has
without a
been 0
fortune.
days since Mike ate the fortune of one of our guests
Yes.
in bed.
In bed, in Mike's mouth.
So now that you think that we're
Oh,
totally
no.
fucking nuts, and I have a potty mouth,
I've been in the music world a long time. Potty mouth is par for the course.
so Vic, the
Yes.
things that we need to know as female listeners, are you
In
single?
bed.
In bed.
I am not. I'm not.
Okay.
I got kids and the whole thing, man. In fact, my older,
cool.
we were talking about names. You were talking about, like a little bit earlier. So you can tell where my musical upbringing comes from. My older son's name is Julian.
So's
Wow.
mine.
Seriously?
Seriously. My son's name is Julian.
That's right.
And
That's
you
right.
kid.
We call
Wow.
him Jack. His name is
Okay.
Julian. Julian
We-
Jack.
That's amazing. We call mine Julian.
Well, he doesn't want us to. I call him Jack because he was supposed to be Jack.
Oh, okay.
I wanted Jack and Walter.
Right.
And he popped out looking like Jack Lemon. So, but then again, all babies look like either Jack Lemon or Walter Matthau. So,
Yes, that is true.
I always thought that all babies look like either Winston Churchill or Trini Lopez. I was a Trini Lopez baby myself.
I don't know what I look like. I was adopted.
Oh,
They don't
You were
have
still a
pictures of me
baby, though.
totally-
You were still a
Yeah.
baby.
I know. I probably look the same. So, and what sign are you, Vic?
do you want to guess?
I would think that you're probably like a Taurus
Oh,
or
I
some
think
kind of
really
spring
close.
kid.
You're really close.
Gemini.
Yeah, you knew that because you know when my birthday is.
Well, I sort of forgot that, but you kind of act like a Gemini.
I was thinking
Yeah.
the end of
Outgoing.
May.
Yes, end of May.
I'm really good at that.
May, yeah, you are. May 25th is my birthday. And you know how, Mike, remember we talked about this because I share a birthday with Jodie Porter from Fountain
That's right.
Plain.
That's
Right.
right.
Paul Weller. from
That's
the
right.
Jam.
Oh, I love Paul Weller. He's one of my favorites.
The Jam. I mean, that's my
That's your
and,
jam.
who else? Dimitri Martin, the wonderful comedian.
Yes,
That's
I
right.
love him.
Mike Myers.
He played Dimitri
Comedian.
Martin played Rodney on something, I think, or he was going to.
He did play on. He was on. I love him. I saw him live one time.
Wow.
And just guy's hilarious.
Now, do you guys want to go to a part 3? Because we can go to a part 3. It's up to you guys.
I'm happy to do whatever you guys got time for.
I can do a
I
little
got
more.
time.
Got to eat dinner because we were talking about food, but yeah, let's go to part 3.
Okay, I'm going to close you guys up and we'll do part 3.
Okay.
And then we'll get all personal. And
Okay.
naked. Okay.
I'll get ready for that while you're.
Okay.
Well, we are back for part 3 of the chat with Vic Wayne. And wait a minute, we have an empty square. We just have a sign that says DJ Gidget Woody Radio. Vic, where did Gidget go?
Dale Cooper.
Literally, she didn't bring Dale Cooper in. Wow.
I love how she doesn't call him Dale or Cooper. It's Dale Cooper.
Right. Well, I don't know. It's like PE class. You get called by your last name. I think 7th grade, first time I got called by my last name by anybody, I thought, man, I'm in the military now or something. It was just PE, but might as well do the same thing.
Give me 20. Get down and give me 20. Let's get.
Yeah, right. And 20 what? But I don't know. And Gidget's back.
She's
Yay,
back.
we got
Had
concerned.
to go let Dale Cooper in because he had escaped to the Black Lodge,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm honored that you guys wanted to take this to a round 3. That's
We haven't done any given three in a row to anybody.
No.
Wow.
It's the first.
wow. Well, I better show off my T-shirt a little here because I don't think
Yes.
that made it on. Because remember when I showed it to you guys, we weren't on air. So
Right.
That is a
quite
good looking
proud of this
shirt,
That
actually.
is
In
an
fact,
awesome shirt designed by Boris.
Boris.
Yeah, and I actually have a secret weapon one too.
Yes.
So
That's-
now I just need a Gidget one to get it to make the triumvirate of T-shirts.
Yes.
And I will go on. It's on the same Red Bubble or whatever it's called that I can order it. Same.
Yeah.
Yes. Redbubble. Is it Redbubble?
I think
Redbubble, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should know that.
Okay.
Well,
I'm
I
going to
think-
show off my Star Collector swag.
Nice. You brought your.
I need
button.
Star Collector swag.
Okay, I'll send you something when we're off air. I'm happy to.
You bring it over?
Well,
some gravy?
to your
It's a long
empty
walk.
house, your empty mansion, me, you, and Dale Cooper getting a little naughty.
If you go outside and look in my windows, I might throw a bowling ball in your face.
Exactly. Just so you know, Mike, and this is no lie. Ever since I got this, I think I've worn it almost every Tuesday since.
Wow.
Because
I'm
got that
honored.
streak we got that streak going. Mike's played us every Tuesday for 22 weeks.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Serious.
It
I
doesn't
know
even
I
seem
hear it every
that long.
Tuesday. I listen at work, and he usually plays it while I'm still listening.
But it's been
'Cause I sign
22
in.
already.
And
I
that,
do my
it's like,
reports.
when you think about that, that's pretty amazing. That's like 5 months.
Yeah,
I
you're
have
like,
Woody swag, but it's on the back of my laptop.
oh, it's gonna
Oh, yeah.
not.
I
We'll
have
never
the
see it
record
this way.
adapter.
We'll literally never see it on this show.
Well, unless
There's
you
a
brought
record
it over.
adapter, and it says DJ Gidget Woody Radio.
Love it. I love it.
Because I'm all about that record adapter. A spider is what
Yes.
it's called.
Yep.
Spider.
something
That's
You know
why-
where I learned that?
Yeah.
I learned that from the folks in Texas because I said, "Hey, how did you name Spider Pop Records?" And they said, "Really? You don't know our logo is a spider?" I said, "Oh, I'm." Yeah, it took a while. Yeah,
That was
I'm
me
all
with
about
Woody
those
Radio.
spiders.
yeah.
That was
One of
me
my
with Woody
all-time favorite
Radio,
songs
not
is Boris the
recognizing the
Spider.
Canadian
Boris.
stuff right off. It's like, duh.
Yeah,
Boris
no,
the
I have a
Spider.
box
Ah.
of record adapters up there. I carry a record adapter in my purse that somebody special gave to me. I'm weird. I have very sentimental things that I like that I save. I save a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Save things from weird places that I've been, and then I go back and look at it.
It's nice.
I'm weird like that.
No, that's
Weird
very
lists
nice.
from restaurants.
I'm a bit of a collector too. Like I like to have memorabilia.
Well, you
and stuff.
collect stars.
Well, there you go.
You got there first, Gidget.
Yeah. Geez, again, you think I would have twigged to that one a bit sooner than
It's a great name.
Thank you. Well, I can't
was-
take credit for it. It's a Monkees song, so
Yeah.
kind of monkeying around.
kinda
I saw
monkey
the
around,
Monkees. I saw the Monkees in 1986, I think,
oh,
Really?
that was
at
then
Great
This Is Now
America
thing.
in,
Yeah.
in San Jose.
See, there's a band that had the original 4 members for a lot of years. The Prefab 4.
But some of those guys came and left over time,
Oh.
and then they'd come
Yeah,
back.
Mike was not in the band when I saw them at Great America.
Right. And Peter Tork was
Just
out
the
for a
3 guys.
while. And
Oh,
yeah.
but I think the Revere and the Raiders guys were all the same, but you just wouldn't know because they're all in costumes.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know enough about their history to comment
The
on that
Bee
one.
Gees, the Bee Gees were together forever with the original members.
Well,
Yeah.
until they
Can't
two of them
exactly
died.
go out and make another brother.
Right? Oh, I got one. Blue
Not
Man
legally,
group.
at least.
Yeah, no, not legally. Blue Man Group. They're all the same, or at least from what we can tell.
Yeah.
And what about the Jefferson Starship? But they were the same people until they started to drop dead, right?
They were Jefferson's Airplane, Jefferson
before that,
Starship, the
they
Starship.
had tons of
And I
members.
don't know. I mean, there's way too much acid going on to know if any of the guys in the dead were all the same.
Right. They kept
Yeah.
losing keyboard players. Their keyboard players would keep dying on them.
Well, just as long as Vic doesn't join Spinal Tap, I guess we're okay.
Right. Exploding
Well,
drummers.
Well, but I'm not a drummer anymore, so
Okay.
it would be someone else. But,
Good self-preservation move.
We'll find somebody. I mean, bands just come and go.
Yeah, well, our members come and go, like that's the thing. That's why, again, why I brought up U2, because it still floors me that they got together in the late 70s and there's still 4 guys in 2021. So,
and Woody Radio
whatever
is
you
the
think
same
of their
thing like a
music,
band.
pretty
We
damn
have members that
In
come and
what?
go.
In
Wait,
what?
that's wrong.
Woody, Woody Radio.
Woody Radio, members that come and go.
Yeah.
And make
Let's
you
start
rock
over.
hard.
That's right. How
Reboot,
big are your
reboot.
members?
But we've had a couple DJs that have been with us since the beginning, other than me.
And how long ago was the beginning?
14 years.
Oh, it's been going since
14 years.
2007.
14 years last June.
So Guardian
January.
Demon, he's got seniority.
Yes. Guardian Demon came right after me. I started with Amanda, who's DJ Loki. DJ Dave Fox was the first DJ. Then there was Guy, Glenn, Sean Valor, and Maya. Maya was one of the first. My daughter.
Oh.
So,
how old is your daughter?
my daughter's 27 now.
27.
She lives outside of San Francisco, where I grew up in Fremont. Like you were talking about the fields of Edmonton. I grew up across the street from one of those fields. It's now 40 million houses.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was fields that we played in and occasionally set on fire. No, it wasn't my fault.
That's a nice thought. It's a nice.
It wasn't my fault. You know, they wrapped hay bales when we were kids with like metal, like twine.
Yeah.
And we would build these big houses, and then they would occasionally burn down because the sun would hit them.
Oh.
So
Like
it wasn't
hay bale
even...
forts, because we were kids who played outside in malathion spraying.
Oh, yeah.
We used to put our skateboards at the top of the hay bales and just skate right off.
Spontaneous combustion, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, it happens. I mean, that's living on the West Coast, though. Mike grew up on the West Coast. He knows what it's like. You play in hay bales and play in the malathion.
Yep, and waiting for the next earthquake to come. Yep.
Right. They had one a couple weeks ago. They're good for it.
We actually felt it in Sacramento. I was just talking with one of my friends at work about that today. It was so mild here. In Sacramento, we don't really have any faults here in the valley. We get other people's earthquakes. So we get Sierra earthquakes or we get Bay Area earthquakes, but sometimes they're nice enough to share a little bit of residue with us. So we felt one 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother lived in Loma Prieta and he moved to Sacramento because he never wanted to live near anything that looked like a mountain again.
Yeah.
And I was living in San Francisco. And you get earthquakes up there in Vancouver, not as many.
Yeah, I mean, we had a tremor that was we did actually feel. I don't know, I can't remember exactly. Maybe a year and a half ago.
There was that big one in 2001 in Seattle.
Yeah, I was here in 2001, but I don't know if. Yeah. You know what? Yes, it was in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
In the
I was in a big building in downtown Seattle at a doctor visit for anxiety.
Okay.
and an earthquake hit.
Oh.
And
Oh,
next
that's
door was
Well, at least you were with a
next door was
doctor.
the ADHD clinic.
Of all the places to be, if you're with a doctor, I suppose that's,
No, I was getting ready to leave,
Oh.
and it was an all glass building that they had to
Oh.
tear down afterwards. It was pretty damaged.
Wow.
oh
But
man.
But I do
don't
remember
miss
the one
that.
you're talking about. I was actually, so for a number of years, I worked for in the States, they have ASCAP,
hmm
and in
Yeah.
Canada, they have SOCAN.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Paul
Yeah.
Williams thing.
Well, the ones that
Yeah.
do the royalties, right?
Right.
And so I worked for them for quite some time, and I was actually at my desk when that earthquake hit, and I remember, kind of,
Wow.
holy, what the hell was that? And it was like right in the middle of the day, like, I don't know, 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon or something, and you're just sitting there doing your thing. You got your coffee or, and your computer, whatever you're, doing. And then suddenly the whole thing goes and you're like, and you're not used. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't used to it. I don't know. I only
They never schedule those at opportune times, do they?
No,
it was
that's
the day
true.
after Mardi
They
Gras,
should be
and
checking with us, shouldn't they?
somebody had gotten killed at Mardi Gras, and
Hmm.
they said that the mayor of Seattle has so powerful with God that he was able to schedule an earthquake to get everybody on another subject.
Oh,
The
yeah.
only thing bad that happened in that earthquake, Seattle and Vancouver are such tough cities, I guess maybe because they're in between mountains and water and all that. The only thing that happened is the Starbucks Mermaid fell. The Seattle Chocolates building, all the bricks fell off of it. The Phoenix Underground was damaged, but it had just been bought by the guy from Northern Exposures, and he wasn't a Seattle person, so maybe that's his fault. And then the Capitol building was damaged.
Mm.
And some cat had a heart attack. I mean,
Oh, geez.
really, it was not. And Vancouver had a little bit of damage, like near the Peace Arch. They had to close the Peace Arch for like a day or so because there was damage at the arch.
Well, aren't they more into volcanic eruptions up there more so than earthquakes?
They just like to scare you guys so you guys don't come up.
It's worked so far, yeah.
Yeah, we make movies like Dante's Peak so people don't move to the northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that experience I just described would probably be the only one I really remember of any of those types of things, except for a couple years ago when I did feel one in our home. The upstairs kind of started to shake just ever so slightly, but it was enough to know that, it's pretty weird when you feel like your whole house is actually moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of freaky, but those are probably the two that I remember in my whole life living in this part of the world. So, yeah, it probably is just a bit of a fear tactic, but
we just like tell people in San Francisco, hey, if it's 4 or under, we don't care. Get over it, move on.
Yeah.
But in Seattle, we tell everybody it rains all the time and we have volcanoes, so they don't move there.
Yeah.
It didn't work though. That place still didn't work.
No, because everybody moved to Seattle. It's really weird because I left 13 years ago, and I haven't looked back. I wanted to move to Vancouver, but it was after 9/11, and it was really hard to move into a foreign country then.
Yeah.
And it was getting harder for us to just go across the border. I watched a family have their car taken apart. They were in like a Ford LTD.
Oh.
And they were probably, have you ever seen that movie Foul Play? When they take the little Korean family and they're in the backseat going, Kojak, bang, bang, Kojak, bang, bang. The couple looked like that, and they had their whole entire car taken apart. And I'm like, why are they harassing this little couple just trying to get into America? And next thing you know, they take the bottom part out of the car and like 3 people get out.
Oh.
And it was getting so tight at the border after 9/11 that, those people could have just went across and nobody would even thought, all you had to do is walk down to the Peace Arch and walk across.
Right. For the dogs
go to
sniff
Harrison.
them out.
Go to, what's that town over to go to Harrison?
Not Bellingham.
When you go and you're going in the middle, and Abbotsford.
Oh, Abbotsford.
You can get across really easy there. The only thing I've ever had taken away from me in any of the years that I've been to Vancouver was a bottle of wine. It was called Rotten Grape.
I remember one time we had, going across the border can be tricky for bands too, right?
Right.
Unless you've got all the papers, and to get the paper, that sort of stuff, like, getting papers that allow you to go down there legally is ridiculous amount of money, like way more than you'll ever make at the show. So bands just don't pay for it. They just sneak across. Both ways.
Yeah.
So,
Borrow instruments of your friends when you get
yeah,
there.
borrow what you can, or luckily for me, I was a dual citizen, so I was able to. I had a Nexus pass and a dual citizen, and I could just get through. They would just say, "Oh, are you a citizen?" I'd say, "Yep, here's my passport," and they just let me through. So I could take stuff in the trunk and never get asked. But now I can't. But I remember one time back in this would be like in the Dear God days, so this is like the 90s. I remember we had a big truck full of stuff. And we had all the stuff. I don't know what we were thinking, but we had all our gear with us. And somehow we got down there without getting stopped.
Wow.
But on the way back, they had to go and search the whole thing. And all they took, nobody got fined or anything. And we didn't get in any trouble for being, having musical instruments. The only thing that happened is that our bass player smoked, and they kept his like carton of Marlboros or something that he bought, because you can't get those here, right? And that was all. But of course, we were delayed, sitting there waiting for 2 hours while they unloaded our whole truck and then reloaded it and all that shit. So
yeah, the only time I got delayed was another car, and when we got through it, they wanted to know if we had anything to declare, and my nephew said, "I got some boogers." He was
let him through. You're good.
Yeah, he declared it.
Pass.
He was like holding his fingers up like this.
Now, I didn't say that because you can get kicked off the air for saying that word, the B word.
Booger?
Yeah,
Booger?
Remember WKRP?
Oh, that's right.
So we got to edit that part out. Ooh, you said the B word.
Oh my God, we are WKRP, really. Woody Radio really is.
We are in so many good ways.
Yeah, he's our Les Nessman.
Who's Herb? Who's Herb?
Herb would probably be Boris.
No, see,
I don't want to be Les.
That's so funny. Like, I know what Mike looked like,
TC
and I knew what you looked like, but Boris doesn't put his frickin' picture on any of the social media. He's got that mummy thing going.
Oh, you know what?
I don't know what he looks like.
You know what? One time, Gidget sent me a picture. She went and visited Boris, and there's another musician. They went and saw a show, and she sent me this picture. And I said, "That's a great picture. Who are they?" Though she says, "Well, this guy here, you should know him. It's Boris." I said, "I've never seen him before. He really is the man of mystery."
How many years has he worked at Woody?
12.
12 years. Jeez.
12 years.
Yeah, well, I gotta.
And he's the other owner.
These days. Yeah, I kind of knew that. I think he told me that because the same way that Mike and I go back and forth on direct messaging,
Yeah.
Boris and I do too. And but I've never actually asked him for a picture because that might be a little. Boris,
there's a funny
can
story.
I just get a picture of you, please?
I'll tell a story. He'll probably get mad at me for this, but I'll tell you a story about him not having a picture. And I laugh at him all the time for this. I'm stealing creative liberties here. He went to see Elaine Boozler, and he knocked on her door, and they've been Facebook friends for years. But he had a picture of himself as Travis Bickle.
Okay.
And
on Facebook or whatever.
She says to him, "I don't know. I thought you were black." He goes, "Why would you think that? Well, your picture, that's fucking Travis Bickle."
Right. It's Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
And he shows up and she didn't realize it was Boris, and she's looking at him like, "Who the fuck are you?"
What does he look like? Can you give me even the slightest hint? Is he like tall, short?
I personally think he looks like Greg Kinn.
Oh.
Yeah. He'll probably kick me for saying that, though.
He's kind of got like spiky hair, or had spiky hair.
Like a cockatiel on the top.
Huh. Okay. And is he kind of like 50s?
Yeah, older. 60s. He's an old man with a cane.
No, he's
yelling at people to get off the lawn.
He's got a good quick wit, though. I
very quick.
He's one of the funniest people I know.
Yeah, we have lots of fun. Like pretty much every time he posts his top 20, we always start back and forth on some ridiculous, thing. But it's good fun. Yeah. Well, one of these days, where does he live?
Right outside of Chicago.
Yeah. So
I love when he pops.
I'm sure I'll meet Mike long before I'll meet you guys then, because Chicago's like, pretty far away. Sacramento, that's just down the coast.
I'm going to see Mike. I see Mike probably more than I've seen anyone else. I mean, and it's been 2 years.
In person?
Yeah, we've met twice in person, and it'll happen again.
My parents.
Yeah, it'll happen again in October in the fall.
Yeah, my daughter lives with my parents. She takes care of them. She's an RN, and so I go out, but because of COVID, I haven't been out in 2 years. But the last time I was out, I went and saw Mike, and the time before that, I went and saw Mike, and Mike's been to Fremont. It's an hour and 45 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. Nice.
And he knows my friends.
Yep. I brought donuts or something.
But you know what? He's never met my daughter. As much as he's talked to her, he's never seen her in person. Yet he's met my cousin.
Right. I think that's going to change pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah, because my cousin is not, I didn't grow up with her. She's my cousin by adoption. And she's been on his show. And so she sat in his studio.
She's in a band. She is in the band Great Bitter Lake, formerly known as Forest, the band. So Haley Hay.
Okay, yeah, I don't know them.
She's incredibly talented. Just graduated from Berklee College of Music in Boston. I found my birth family, and I'm like, whoa, that's where the music came from.
There we go. So you have 3 kids, Gidget? 2 boys and a girl?
3. And how many do you have?
I have 2 boys.
2 boys.
Yeah,
no
Julian
girls?
And, no girls. 2 boys. Yeah, Julian and Miles. That's
Miles. Miles is one of the names we thought of for Dylan, but I really wanted Walter.
We thought of Miles, wanted Walter, got Dylan.
Yeah. Okay, so Dylan happened because when I was in labor, I was reading the Dylan Thomas poetry book.
Gotcha.
And I was really enamored of the story of him laying on his wife's lap.
Oh, that's nice.
Drunk off his ass.
Oh, not so nice. It was nice.
And I thought that was the cutest thing ever.
Yeah, it is nice.
And I thought Dylan is a good name because we can call him Dill, and Maya wanted a dill pickle. We didn't know at the time, though, she really was naming him after some little kid on this monkey show on Disney. Monkey Twins.
Right.
Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
Yes, my kids used to watch that show when it was on. I remember that.
And how old are your kids?
My older son is 24 and my younger son is 20.
Okay, mine are 14, 17, and 27.
Okay, wow. So yours are on both. Your oldest is older than mine and your youngest or younger too or younger. Yeah. So
Dill is the youngest. He doesn't go by Dylan. He goes by Dill Mars.
Dill Mars.
He has a rock star name.
I'll have to know that next time. Wow.
Yeah. And Mike, you don't have kids, right?
I do.
Oh, do you?
I have one son,
and
2 stepkids, and my son is Spencer. And when we were, when my ex was pregnant, she said, Chloe, if it's a girl. I said, God, I hope it's a boy then. Although I now know a Chloe who I really like, and so I do like the name now, but I thought I hope it's a boy. I said, I'm thinking either Spencer or Fernando, and I knew that she would never go with Fernando because I really wanted Spencer, so we got Spencer.
Yeah.
And where did Spencer come from?
That's a good name.
Where did he come from? He came from, well,
no, I mean, I know where
when a boy and a girl love each other.
Yeah, that's right.
No, he's from Chicago originally. He lives in Las Vegas now. It's a whole circuitous.
No. I mean, the name, is it like Spencer Davis?
Oh no, I just liked it. I just thought it's a cool name.
Spencer for hire?
Right. Well, it's funny. That's
Spencer?
That's SPENSER, and my son is SPENCER. But I was kind of another one of these things where you just don't pick up on what somebody's saying. When I told one of my friends that I named him Spencer, he goes with a C or an S. I think, well, who names their kid Capencer? CPENCER. It's like, of course, it's an S.
And how old is Spencer? Oh, I was just gonna say, how old?
Oh, he's 25, and I love the name. I just always thought it was a cool name.
Mm-hmm.
No, with the name Miles, did you get that from Miles Davis? Or?
No, you get asked that almost every time, though, which makes sense, being that I'm
because I get Dylan, Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
Dylan.
Yeah, no, just it was just a name that we both really liked, and when you're doing names, as you both probably know, it's that whole thing. It's almost like a process of elimination. You come up with like 5 or 10 that you really like, and then it's like one person likes it, and the other one's like, oh no, there was a guy that ate glue in my school. Or, this girl broke my heart, so we can't name our daughter that, or whatever it is, right? And then we both loved Julian right off the top. I was a huge John Lennon fan, and my wife had a crush on some French kid named Julian from when she was.
Now, 13. Did you go with the French spelling with the IEN?
No, we didn't. We went with the IEN.
We went with the IEN.
Okay. Still sounds
nobody's mentioned in this whole conversation. Nobody's brought up Julian Cope. I mean, that's really important too.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Julian Cope fan, as you know. I mean, I even quoted him in "Rip It Off," right?
Yes. World, shut your mouth. Yeah.
But
Gidget had me quote him one time too.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Greenhead detector.
Nice.
But Miles, I really love the name Miles. There's a singer that I really enjoy named Pat. What? Oh my God, Worth is gonna hit me for this. From Yipes, Pat McCurdy.
Oh, Pat McCurdy, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen his name on
Miles and Julie.
I don't know his music, but I've seen that name on Boris's charts for the last couple months.
I drew a blank there for a minute. And he's such a nice guy. And we were talking about how we both have sons named Julian, and his sons are Julian and Miles.
Oh wow.
That guy's sons are named Julian and Miles?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I gotta. That's too kismet. I gotta meet that guy.
Yeah,
I gotta.
and really like the name Milo, but nobody would go
Yeah.
with Milo because of the beverage.
Or
So I said,
because
well, we
of
could just
Planet
go
of
with
the
Milo.
Apes.
The what?
Or because of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
Dr. Milo.
yeah.
Hmm.
I remember.
My son Julian, he's autistic, and he had a doctor that looked like the little doctor. I can never remember her name.
Oh, Zira?
Zira, yeah. He had a doctor that looked like her. And I used to go in the office and I'd have a really hard time looking. She was his neurologist. And she was like 4'10" and looked like that. Don't touch my son.
Wow.
Oh, I loved Planet of the Apes when I was a kid, man.
Yeah, I had a Planet of the Apes playset,
Yeah, those like GI Joe type dolls. They're about this big, and they were Planet of the Apes.
And my Barbies would go in, and the apes would tie her up, and
oh, it sounds like there's a story in there.
I was the youngest out of all of the kids in my family because my parents waited like 11 years to adopt me. So I had no one to play with. And they would buy me pets and we would eat them. And that's a totally other story. I had a chicken and they told me not to get attached. Or the clams that we used to fish for.
That's not a pet then.
I just had I just immediately had a vision of a cat or something. I'm like,
no, not the cat.
Thank goodness.
I wasn't allowed those kind of pets because my parents were allergic to them. Or my mom was. I finally got a cat when I was 8. So, but I was a very lonely child who had a lot of weird toys. My Evil Knievel, I still have my Evil Knievel. I still have my Captain America doll.
Nice. You were saying you like to collect things and not get rid of them, so it's cool that you still have some of that stuff.
I have I had a thing for comic books when I was a kid, and I still have a lot of them.
Me too. I got trunks full down there with.
When you grow up in an area where there's
dust.
Not a lot of kids, and you have a bike, you ride your bike to the closest liquor store and buy comic books.
And yes, it was a liquor store. I was visiting in LA not too long ago. My brother and I took a trip to our old favorite liquor store, which in those days was a convenience store, right? I got baseball cards, comic books, sodas, Funyuns from the liquor store. This time we actually bought liquor. Coming back, 30 years later as adults, we actually went to the store for its actual purpose.
I had so many, all of the names we thought of for my kids, except for Julian, which Julian came from, every cool kid named Julian Imagine. It was also my husband's grandfather. But along the lines of Julian.
So there
Lennon,
was a familial thing there,
right. And everything else came from comic books. I fought tooth and nail to get my daughter a comic book name, and every single one of them, Veronica was vetoed because she's a bitch in the comimes. Sabrina vetoed because she's a witch.
But she was a nice
Betty.
witch, wasn't she?
Nobody names children Betty.
No, that was my grandmother's name.
It's my mother's name. Yeah. And Jughead, you just don't name children Jughead or Jughead.
Oh, that would have been awesome. I wanted that as a nickname. When I was in junior high school, I wanted that to be my nickname. I couldn't really make it stick. And it's probably just as well. Yeah.
You look like you could be a Jughead though.
Could be.
But Mike knows this. I secretly, my daughter's name is Maya. And everyone goes, well, you didn't get a comic book there. No, actually I did. Well, one, she was also on my lunchbox from Space 1999. But I was reading a book, My Neighbor Totoro, and the little girl's name was May. And I thought Maya would be cool. And then I just happened to be watching Adventures in Babysitting. Now, her name was Parker up until a week before she was born, because Parker could have been a boy or a girl in Peter. And I was watching Adventures in Babysitting. This little girl with thorn hair things, and her real name was Maya. And everyone was fighting me tooth and nail about the whole comic book thing. So I took the name May, and I said, Maya. The little girl's name is Maya, and she likes Thor. And there was her name. Perfect. And nobody knew for like years. I didn't admit to anybody that she's the little girl who likes Thor. So secretly I got my comic book.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I'm just a nerd. I am a big nerd. We used to have a Woody radio booth at Comic Cons out here.
That's right.
Wow. Okay.
I'm a nerd. Yeah. I judged the cosplay contest. There's a picture of me on my Facebook dressed like Velma.
Yep.
I did B-Girl as a cosplay once.
Oh yeah. B-Girl from Blind Melon's video. Yeah.
B-Girl. Yeah.
I'm a nerd. So we can all go do nerd things together, because I have a feeling you comic books, Mike comic books.
Yeah.
Come on, be the cool dad. Your kids will be so excited.
Yeah, my kids showed no interest in that stuff. I have this big card collection with hockey cards and baseball and basketball, and I got all these comic books and stuff. They didn't show Hardy Boy books, like all that kind of stuff.
Really?
That and
Hmm.
they had no interest.
Oh, my
in
boys love
any of
Nancy
it.
Drew. They didn't do the Hardy Boys like me. They wanted Nancy Drew.
Yeah, my guys.
Well,
had
not the
no
youngest. The
interest in
youngest
it.
one is a nerd, is a different kind of nerd, but they're into anime.
Yeah, no, not. I mean, maybe. Oh, that's also your younger ones, probably, right?
No, the 17. Well, he's also autistic, so it's kind of.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
significantly younger than mine too. Like, is your older one into that?
Oh
Into
yeah.
what?
She's
Oh,
a
she
big
was into
cosplayer.
anime. Oh, she is. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's
Yeah,
a big
that.
Star Wars fan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Nobody
She's-
names their boys Darth anymore. I don't get that. Why not?
Darth? That'd be a great name.
Totally.
She wanted to name my youngest Gus Gus.
What? What name?
Gus Gus from Cinderella.
Oh, I don't remember.
I said find a
Gus
pop culture name that you like. Gus Gus.
Oh goodness. Yeah. No, I don't even know that character.
He's a little mouse in Cinderella.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a deep dive.
It is
Yeah.
a deep dive.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Well,
I've got nerds for children.
You raised them well.
Yeah. Now my daughter turned out pretty good looking though too. So I'm not.
Good looking nerd. There you go.
Yeah.
The perfect combo.
Well, I'm married to one, so that works really well too.
Yeah. And your wife is wonderful.
She is wonderful.
We got to see Vic's wife.
Yeah, geez.
You made her up.
No, I definitely didn't. You want me to go see if I can find a picture? Hold up. Be right back. You talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, so while Vic is gone,
Oh, he's got shorts on.
yeah, yeah. So this has been fun. This has been our longest chat to date.
Did he come back with clothes on?
Yeah, I put them on. Oh well,
He's
Can't
gonna
have
watch and go,
everything.
what did I talk about?
right?
Yeah.
He's listening. He's listening. He can hear us now.
Oh yeah. Were you saying
We were
some
talking
shit?
about your butt.
Oh, well, that can't be good.
We watched you walk out.
Yeah, sorry. That nobody wants to see that on yeah, so I don't know if you can see that, but
Oh my
Oh, very
gosh,
nice.
she's so cute.
yeah. I think this is probably about, I want to say 7 or 8 years old, but it's all I could find at short notice. But
She's
You guys
very, very cute.
definitely
she's
look like
gorgeous.
you belong together. Great couple.
Thank you. Yeah, she's
Wow.
she's a good one.
Yep.
And she supports you with everything that you do, and she's given you wonderful kids.
Yes, and she's got a very successful business too. So yeah, she's
That's good.
got it all.
Hey,
And
so
She's got it all and me.
and you.
And do you work outside of this, Vic? Do you have to have a job at like the White Spot still?
No, I don't have to work there anymore. But so I did work for those for the copyright folks for a long time,
Mhm.
and then just one day my department got eliminated.
Mm.
Just, not exactly.
Did Paul Williams
So-
eliminate you?
Are you talking about little Paul Williams, the little singer
Yeah,
that did
he's the
Phantom of the
president of
Paradise?
ASCAP.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. So that's they don't share any kind of board or anything. So that's right. But I was like, Phantom of the Paradise, is that who she's referring to?
Yes, he's my hero,
Okay, yeah, he's
But he is
he's a
the
bit of a
president of
nerd.
ASCAP, and he tried to shut us down.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, we were shut down for a little while, but we still
Okay.
love him because he's perfect, and he's
Well.
like my celebrity crush.
Okay. He's
Wow.
Yeah, weird.
I did love that movie as a kid.
I might be taller than him, but not by much.
Oh, he's tiny. Michael Fox, he makes Michael J. Fox look tall. So where were we talking about? Oh yeah. So that was that, and then right now I'm actually just finishing up another degree. I think I mentioned this to you on the before we were on the air that I'm doing a degree in social work.
That's great.
Good.
Really
So-
great.
I'm
That's
doing,
my line of work. I'm in.
Oh.
I'm a DSP, direct service provider for disabled adults.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of second career for me.
It's my
But-
second career. I started it after COVID. After my son was living in a place for kids with autism, I
Yeah.
noticed there was a need for people who understood autism instead of
Yeah.
people who just went into it for a job.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I take care of adults with autism.
That's amazing.
It doesn't
Pretty
pay,
wonderful.
but it's a wonderful job and it's very rewarding.
Mhm.
Sometimes I end up with scratches all over my arms, but
Oh.
but you'll get there once your degree's done. And but see, I don't have to have a degree. I'm on the lower end of I'm like shoved in the houses with them. I'm the one that spends the time with them and takes them places.
Yeah, no, that's great work. I mean, I guess I come from a sort of a family of, my dad was a physician. He passed away quite young, but he was a doctor, and one of my brothers is a doctor as well. Not the one that plays in the band with me, the other brother. Although he's a musician too. All four kids in my family are musicians, actually, to some degree.
Wow.
Yeah, my daughter's an RN, so I get it.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of that, I think, that thread that runs through somewhere, and even though I didn't do that for the longest time, some stuff that went on in my life over the last few years kind of led me to this. And
very nice.
I don't like to usually get into it in too much detail, but
we'll talk about it sometime.
Yeah,
it's nice that you're going to be helping out, though. That's really wonderful.
Yeah,
I have so much respect for social workers because they are.
Thank you.
It's a very, very hard job, and it's hard to keep people in that work.
I hear that.
They get disheartened.
Yeah, and they get exhausted.
And we have the worst,
out, right?
the worst system for disabled adults in America, in North America, not Canada. Canada at least treats them a little bit better.
Yeah, I believe that.
And it's really hard to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think I knew that going in. I guess we'll see once I'm actually practicing for a while. But I'm just in the thick of my very last practicum right now. But yeah, we'll see. I think something you said there really twigged, which is you went into it because you had a lived experience with it, and that's certainly been my journey too. A good portion of our Game Day album is informed by that situation.
Wow.
So so even though it comes off pretty rockin' and power poppy and all those things, if you actually sat down with the lyric sheet, you'd probably be surprised. It's pretty heavy shit.
Maybe that's why I resonate with it, because I can feel it.
Maybe.
I like songs with a vein.
Yeah.
Well, you
good way of putting it.
I was just going to ask you that, actually, because you mentioned that even before we started this. You said, "Yeah, I'm not really into the power pop thing." So, like, if you were to just name 3 artists that you really do like, obviously Dylan's not one of them, but what are where
My
does your
favorite
musical
songwriter
thing go?
My favorite songwriter in the whole world is Paul Williams.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And
every song that he's written.
So who else might fit into that? Like Randy Newman? Like what other kind of stuff?
God, no.
I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Well, David Bowie.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, there we go. So I was great to start off with that, wasn't I?
Uh-huh.
Yep. I was wearing that shirt earlier today.
Yeah, I've got one too. I'm wearing it on the on our promo pic that goes out with like every promotion.
Yeah, I had that shirt on and I changed to the Edward Gorey shirt. No, I'm really into lyrics.
Okay. Well, then when I send you the pin, I'll send you an album or 2 as well, and hopefully it'll
everything I've heard I've liked.
Great stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, we are down to less than 3 minutes, so I want to make sure before we head out that our listeners can find out where to find out more about Star Collector and pick up some of the Star Collector albums.
Sure. So our Bandcamp page and all the streaming services, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, they all have the digital version, and the CD version is available through Cool Cat Music in New Jersey and Jam Records. Where are they? Can't remember. North Carolina. Can't remember where they're based. Somewhere in the States. But they do the hard copy stuff. Yeah, so that's where you can get the stuff, and then you can also find, like we mentioned at the beginning, we've got some videos that Steve had done. Primarily, Steve does them. He's our guitar player, and they're all up on YouTube. So if people want to kind of get a quick snapshot of what we look like and sound like at the same time, I think we have like 5 official videos up there, and lots of live performance and TV stuff from years gone by.
That I put a whole list of links.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Do you want me to send stuff to you, or do you just want to look it up, or what would you prefer?
Send it to me and I'll get to it tomorrow. Like I said, it'll all be up on Saturday during Mike's show. Okay,
that's awesome. Yeah, it'll probably save you a bit of time if I just send you a.
Yeah, send me a list and I'll just copy paste it.
Okay.
I want to thank you for coming to us, and
thank you for having me. Oh, as were you. That was great fun.
Thank you, Vic Wayne.
didn't even feel like a music interview. Just felt like a bunch of people sitting around shooting.
That's what we want it to be.
Exactly.
Well, that's what it was.
And thank you so
nailed it.
much. You are definitely part of the Woody family, and we really appreciate everything you've done for us.
100%.
And now I get to go to bed because it's my bedtime.
Well, have a great sleep, and just one more time, Mike, thanks for 22 weeks of support. It's pretty unbelievable, and
My pleasure.
and Saturdays too, you play a lot of it. It's just it really just is. It allows us to maintain momentum, over a longer period of time. Like someone said the other night, like the album's got legs, and it's because of guys like you that have been just like
Appreciate that.
devoted to it. So
Great music. My pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, both
Take
of
care,
you.
you guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
okay,
Goodbye.
See you, Gidge.
see you guys.